All right, we got a major update from Lindsey Williams. He actually posted this, 2 weeks ago on his website. I didn't catch it. Someone sent this to me. I haven't actually been there in the last couple of weeks. And this is really making sense right now because I remember the last Lindsey Williams video. Right? Remember I found it online. I uploaded it and that kind of thing, as well as him doing some interviews, at that time. But mainly it was the video, the DVD that came out. And he basically said, when Obamacare is fully implemented is when you can expect the financial collapse to take place. And he reminded us that the business side of Obamacare will not take place for businesses until 2015. So we thought we essentially had a year and 3 months or so, right? And then he kept saying, and I heard him say it in another interview, the same thing, which struck me as odd. And he kept saying, there's still a few more months until 2014. Once we get to 2014, there's just no telling or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, why is he saying in one breath, we've got till 2015 because that's when the businesses will have to comply with Obamacare. And then in the second breath, he kept saying 2014's right around the corner, so you still have a few months to prepare and this and that. And I said, well, maybe he meant 2015 and forgot, and we got a year plus to prepare to get our financial lives in order or whatever. And then I heard another interview after the interview first, then the DVD. And I know he can go fix the DVD. They're not just gonna release the DVD without it. With there being mistakes in there, when he meant to say 2015, he kept saying 2014. So he said it twice, 2 different times, once in the DVD, and then a whole other time in a radio interview where he kept, again, saying 2015 is when the business side of Obamacare has to kick in for businesses, and when it's fully implemented, that's when the collapse will happen. So this whole time when we've been hearing our Congress fighting back, remember just recently, and they're going to try to throw it out, the Senate or whatever it was, I think it was the Senate, asking for since you've already given the businesses till 2015, why don't you go ahead and give the consumers till 2015, the average citizens? And they didn't want to do it. No. So I kept thinking, man, that's not really supposed to go that way. If I'm to believe what Lindsey Williams was hinting at, this should have passed with flying colors, that the citizens also get till 2015, so they don't implement the Obamacare at all until 2015, and then it just didn't happen. So I'm sitting here thinking, man, we're in November now. Oh shoot, we're in December. Looks like the citizens are gonna have to comply here shortly. At the end of January or whatever it was coming up. So I start thinking, is the collapse fixing to happen sooner? Is that what Lindsey Williams was alluding to and beating around the bush? Well, I think I've got confirmation. Breaking news, this is from his website. Financial event planned by the elite, and then he puts in parentheses, IMF, International Monetary Fund, by Lindsey Williams, whatever. There is a financial event planned by the elite, and he says IMF, possibly within the next 3 months. Now, I realize he did use the word possibly within the next 3 months. When I was briefed on this by my elite friend a few weeks back, I was sworn to secrecy until I am told that I can talk. Aha! That's why he kept accidentally saying 2014. You still have a few months left till 2014, while simultaneously saying Obamacare won't be fully implemented until 2015, and I was told that it's not going to happen, the collapse, until it's fully implemented. So I kept telling myself, why does he keep repeating 2014's right around the corner? You got to be prepared before 2014, by 2014. Why is he saying this? A few weeks back, I was sworn to secrecy until I am told that I can talk. Biggest financial event in the last 1,000 years, he says. Please monitor my website, lindseywilliams.net. I will tell you everything soon. Hopefully you will have time to take action. My elite friend sent me the following email. The excerpt below I am allowed to give to you. Quote, we have to remember, this is a piece of the email, just a small piece. according to him. We have to remember, this is the elite's email to him. We have to remember this is the biggest financial event in the last 1,000 years, or at least from my perspective. Every person on the globe will be affected. It will cause starvation, riots, and possibly even martial law. This is a big event! Exclamation point. That is the only piece he is allowed to show. And says, again, possibly within the next 3 months. I was told does not say anything until I got the approval from this gentleman, his elite friend. And he still hasn't got the full-blown, here's all what he had to say, but he apparently has enough to say this. And this was posted November 21st, by the way, so we're talking 2 weeks ago. I'm going to sit here and tell you again, some of you new people to me, to subscribers, that don't believe in Lindsey Williams, think it's a hoax, thinks he's a nonsense talker. Do you understand that if he's right, and in the next 3 months or thereabouts, this big financial event happens, you would say, well, in that case, the elite must be preparing to ride the gold and silver prices up higher, aren't they? Why the hell are they being smashed right now? Silver's at $19 and $20. Gold's down to $1,200. I just did a video yesterday that shows some of the big players on the paper, gold, and silver markets, specifically gold in this case, COMEX paper gold futures contracts, have a strike price, as I said the other day, strike price for gold, $3,000 an ounce for the year 2015. I forgot what month it was because it didn't say in the particular thing I read. Somebody is betting a good amount of money on a 2015 contract, paper contract for gold, that the price will be, strike price will be $3,000. In the face of precious metals prices recently being destroyed, not heavy duty, I mean they're not back to where they originally were, but nonetheless pretty brutal. And then we have, what, a month and a half ago, I think, JP Morgan, which it wasn't announced it was JP Morgan because the reports don't show who it is. It just shows that the big banks, basically, which also means JP Morgan, has went long on their gold paper futures positions. Well, not necessarily futures, I guess, but I mean that's usually what it is anyways. That's what they're playing with. But they went on COMEX gold long, meaning they're betting the price is going up. The entire time I've been paying attention for years now of gold and silver, they have never, none of the banks have ever sat there and gone long, in other words, betting the price will go up. They've always bet short that the price will be going down. And in the face of that, the price has risen. But it always gets smashed down because of these players. And now you mean to tell me the reports are showing they're going long. And somebody's got a $3,000 strike price in gold for the year 2015. Who the hell would go out that far for a futures contract? Most people are day traders or the current month. Not out, 2 years. I mean, come on. So now this is all making sense. So if this collapse is about to take place in the next few months, financial collapse, that explains why some people have a strike price of gold going to $3,000, which in my commentary on that video, I even said Lindsey Williams coincidentally said $3,000 is where they want the price of gold. And $75 to $100 for silver. If that's the case, and someone just happened to, in 2015, buy a contract out that far for $3,000 strike price in gold, boy, that's a hell of a coincidence. And the big bank, JP Morgan, going long in gold futures contracts, which they've never done, in ever, has done that. But I saw that 2015 year and told myself, well, that still makes sense because Lindsey Williams did say 2015 originally, remember? And now this comes out saying, hey, by the way, might be here a little bit sooner. 3 months. 3 months out, potentially. And as he said, stay tuned. As soon as I'm allowed to speak, I was sworn to secrecy until I am told that I can talk. And he has always done exactly that, and has even told us, when they tell me not to say something, I can't say it and I won't say it. And I remember in 2010, before the Egyptian riots took place, before we overthrew Libya with the help of Al-Qaeda and insurgents and whoever, before we tried to step foot in Syria, before we messed with Yemen, he was on the air saying those exact things were about to take place. Couldn't get too specific because he was sworn not to talk too much, and Alex Jones was pressing and pressing and pressing him, and Lindsey Williams even said, look, I'm trying to say as much as I can without saying what I'm not supposed to say, basically, is what he said. I'm trying to give it to you as best I can. And I knew exactly what that meant, and I commented on that as well. And look what happened, exactly what he said happened. And then as it started, he was able to speak and then tell you in advance which countries would be taken out one by one and in the order we would do it. Egypt first, then Yemen, we'd get in there, then we'd go to Libya, get rid of Gaddafi, then we're going to go to Syria, get rid of Assad. He nailed it. We're still, and now Syria is backfiring. We can't even complete that. The Egyptian overthrowing of their government, which was part of our plan here in America, was also just overturned recently. I commented on that a few times in my videos recently, last few months, and even mentioned now Syria's not looking good. I've even heard of pipelines getting taken over and attacked over back in Libya. So everything we've done is now undoing. So now that might be why they're ready to pull the trigger on the economy. And their mindset is probably this: we've lost control, and we don't ever lose control. But since we did, and this is now out of our control, we've got to go with the nuclear option. And the nuclear option isn't necessarily nuclear. It's the nuclear financial option. And as he also said, back in, what was it, June? When we had these interest rates spike over the weekend on a Friday, it was like June 21st or 22nd. From that Friday to Monday, the news started reporting if these interest rates don't go down, it's going to be like Armageddon in the financial world scene. Lindsey Williams said, I got an email from my elite friend. They were just practicing, doing a little test run to see what it would take to bring the world's economies to its knees. And that was it. That was the one. They're going to change the interest rate, the interbank interest rate. That'll do it. So he then said later, that's the mechanism that they'll do this by. So now that I'm reading this to you, and he says in the next 3 months this could take place, be prepared to look for that interbank interest rate to go crazy, which will cause derivatives, nightmares, and implosions like you cannot believe. And I'm here to tell you, as I said just yesterday too, I think, or was the day before, when I said, don't take your eye off gold and silver. Do not take your eye off of them. And don't you dare sell them to go play Bitcoin or any other currencies. That's what I said. This is why I've been stacking my silver for all these past few years for this event. And not only that, is it possible that when this happens, because South America currently now is heavy duty into cryptocurrencies because they're seeing the same kind of crap and not privatization, but socialization kicking in, price setting mechanism kicking in, food costs rising, other costs rising, and they're trying to find a way to store their wealth. And right now, they're using cryptocurrencies. Some are using gold and silver. Of course, everybody does that across the globe. Not everybody, but everywhere across the globe, there are definitely people who understand, I need to start getting in gold and silver now. I don't like what I'm seeing. But for the new age stuff, the technology days now, Bitcoin, I can do it for my computer. I don't have to lug around heavy gold or go buy a safe. I could just play online. So people are doing it. Whether it crashes or not, doesn't matter. They're doing it. So what I'm thinking of is exactly what the webbot has said now, and it makes a lot of sense. Gold and silver are going to do very well. At the same time, Bitcoin, Litecoin, all these coins are going to do well also, because people are going to be in a flurry to go to something to save their wealth. And when this happens, the next 3 months, financial collapse, you can bet people will be in a mad panic to get their hands on wealth-saving devices, such as gold and silver, and now newly, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, etc. So if anyone's fixing to get into the cryptocurrency thing, you want to start mining your own cryptocurrencies, whatever, I'm going to say now, you better get in a hurry. Because when this happens, I do have a feeling that those will skyrocket as well, along with gold and silver. So what I plan on doing with my cryptocurrencies is selling them absolutely for precious metals. But I'm going to sit here and acquire more and acquire more and acquire, keep mining, keep mining, keep mining. My current mining thing of choice right now is Feathercoin. It's pretty much tied with Litecoin as far as profitability. But I can mine a lot more Feathercoin than Litecoin. So I have a feeling Feathercoin could do significantly well. And since I've mined a bunch of those, maybe that in the long run that might be better. I don't know. It might not. I'm also going to mine Litecoins too, but I right now I'm focusing on Feathercoin. And when that day comes, when I can pull the trigger and get some more gold and silver with simple digital mining nonsense known as cryptocurrencies, I'm going to do it. And it's going to be crazy to tell my kids and my grandkids the story one day of how I used this weird online fake thing, digital transfer of nothing, digital nothingness, and turned it into physical gold and silver, which then skyrocketed along with those digital weird things called Bitcoin and whatnot. And I had both. And maybe I got to retire early, or paid off the house, or paid off some, whatever kind of a thing, which, currently I'm not paying on my house because I'm fighting the bank. That's another story, but most of you already know it. But long story short, I'll be honest, if I made a small fortune in Bitcoin or any of these coins, or gold and silver skyrocketed to where I had, $200,000 or $300,000 sitting in my pocket, so to speak, I'd probably just go ahead and be honest here and say, rather than to fight the bank and anything else, I might just try to reason with them and say, let's settle. Let's settle, and I own the house. What do you want for it? Market price is not what I owe. Let's be honest here. I'll give you cash money. Not payments, but actual cash that they can use. That's probably how I'd handle that. Or do that and then go look for another place, because property prices, when this happens, I'm telling you right now, when this happens, Lindsey Williams financial collapse, the prices of housing right now, where they are, which aren't the greatest anyways, and have already recently showed signs of back towards destruction in value, the prices in housing are going to plummet so severely. When these interest rates rise, all interest rates are going to rise too. So your little 4, 5, 6% home loan, if you're locked in, you're locked in. But if you got any kind of adjustable rate, or you have to refinance every certain amount of year, whatever the situation is, or you're just newly going to buy a house, because life can't stop, right? There's new kids becoming adults, have to get married, go get a house, etc. They got to get a brand new loan. And when they start getting these loans and are being told, oh, it's now 12% interest rate. This $150,000 house you're looking at, can't afford it. You can only afford a $70,000 house because of the 12% interest rate. If it was 6% interest rate, you could afford it. So what does that do? That forces the prices of houses to come down. More foreclosures, more banks sitting on this crap, which will then sell it for the current market price, which would be that $70,000 in this example, which will make that newlywed couple happy that they can afford it. But they can only afford a $70,000 house, which means your house next to them, which was a $200,000 house or $150,000 house, is automatically now revalued at $70,000. Wait a minute, I still owe $120,000 on... Sorry about that. Interest rates are high. Just, it's kind of like the weather. It rains, you can't predict. It's an act of God, when in reality, it's an act of pure evil. Banksters, IMF, they're going to be rigging this rate. They're going to be setting the rate to destroy the world's economies. That's what's going to happen. All these years I've been doing these videos, this is why. This is the epic ending to why I've been doing these videos free of charge, to wake up as many people as I can, trying to explain in great detail when I do my videos why it's so important that I'm talking about whatever it is I'm talking about, mostly gold and silver, why you should have it. Now Bitcoin, it's a risk, but by God, because of what the world is doing right now, it's not too bad of a risk to try to get involved in. They could go significantly higher when this happens. I mean, way higher. So, all I'm going to do is mine. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. I'm not going to buy Litecoin. I'm just going to mine, as they say. I'm going to mine these coins. But anyone else who's thinking about doing it, I'm gonna, because when this happens, you could probably be also rest assured that there's going to be a ton of people wanting to get in on the action of Bitcoin and Litecoin and all these coins and go mining them themselves and doing that. So there's going to be an influx of that kind of activity. Those of us who have already started to do it and are doing it will have a little bit of lead on them. And then as the prices explode, potentially, for these Bitcoins and whatnot, we'll be sitting on a pile of them that we will, in fact, then turn in for USD dollars that have been devalued. But since that's the currency of your country, sorry about your luck, you got to use it. So why not take something that's not too valuable right now, make it extremely valuable in the future because of what's happening, the financial collapse. On top of that, a dollar devaluation. You could pay off your debt in a hurry. You could buy new things in a hurry. You're gonna see things come on like Craigslist and eBay, especially Craigslist. Oh, I just bought a brand new $10,000 four-wheeler with my tax return money, like most people do. Didn't have a pot to piss in, but I got a bunch of money back from tax return time, so I went and bought a new four-wheeler or a new buggy or whatever, new boat. And then 5-6 months later, I'm all out of my money and I'm struggling big time now. Worse than ever before. I got to sell my boat, got to sell my buggy, got to sell my four-wheeler. And then you look on Craigslist and there's a crap load of people selling the same things you've got. Now you got to compete with these people. And how do you compete when you're selling? You got to lower the price. Not only that, how many people are really going to be out there buying in a destroyed economy? Not a lot. Only people with money, with cash money on hand. So as I've said this before, and I know some of you know it because I have said this, you will have fire sale deals like you cannot believe when this happens, because people will be unloading things that they didn't need too much, like a boat, a four-wheeler, whatever, some little toy, even cars, and you will be able to scoop them up for so cheap it'll be ridiculous. It's not like you're taking advantage. You just have knowledge that they don't have. All they have to do is subscribe to old JSnip4 or many other people like me, and they would have the knowledge. But they're too busy watching their nonsense TV shows, nonsense sports arena things, not paying attention to anything else. Sure, you can watch those things. Go ahead, have fun. We're entitled to have some fun. But you better be educated and informed about what in the hell is going on around you. Plain and simple. Take care.